what Stephen A. Smith had to say on Stephen A's World on what the Lakers should do this offseason.
Day one of the offseason, Rob Pelinka needs to be on the phone shopping his big man just to see how much Anthony Davis is worth. Because what other asset do the Lakers have to help them retool for what we all know is coming? That would be life after LeBron James. Russell Westbrook with $47 million left on his deal for next season? Hell no. Draft picks? The Lakers don't even have a pick until the year 2023. That would be next year. The only asset they do have is Anthony Davis.
So, Frank, with that being said, we started throwing around names. I mean, first off, do you see that being something the Lakers should do? And secondly, if you do, what are some of the names of players or teams that Rob Pelinka should be on the phone with?
I do think there would be a market for Anthony Davis. But the only thing about Anthony Davis, how much are you going to give up for a guy who clearly, I think, is a number two guy, as a number one guy in New Orleans? I think they only got out of the first round one time. And the issue with him, LeBron James is 37 years old. There has to be nights where he thinks, can somebody else carry the team for a week or 2 weeks? Does it always have to be me? And there was a moment this year, they went to Milwaukee and they played the Bucks, and he wanted no part of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think when Frank Vogel said, Anthony Davis, you're gonna defend Antetokounmpo, he said, good, I'll take Thanasis. And they said, no, you have Giannis. And he said, no, I want no part of that guy. And Giannis dominated them in Milwaukee. He dominated them in L.A. They got a title out of Anthony Davis and LeBron. I just think it's too much all the time to ask LeBron to constantly carry the team. They need more out of him. That being said, I still think there would be a pretty big market for him because when he's healthy, which isn't all the time, he can still be productive.
Frank, it'd be like Jason Tatum with the Boston Celtics, considering people aren't sure whether Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can coexist together, even though they have been playing exceptionally well since they got Derek White.
It's funny, too. On our show, whenever the Celtics lose, the big theme coming out of Boston is we got to break those two guys up. Now you watch the way they play. I think you get the right point guard for that team. They're young enough where I still think they could be successful together and make it work. They're too talented, those guys. And to your point, look at the way they played the last 2 or 3 weeks. And look what they did last night to Philadelphia. They ate them up. So I'm never that crazy about breaking up a tandem that's that young. To me, they need a point guard. They couldn't get this guy, but imagine if Chris Paul was on the team with those two guys. Yeah. Just like the kind of leadership he would bring and how much he would help them along. To me, I can make that work in Boston. I just got to find someone else to play with those guys.
Frank, the problem with AD out in L.A. is when we acquired him via the trade and I gave up all those picks, many people out here, we felt, okay, we're going to get a nice 3 to 4 year run because of LeBron's age, and we'll probably get a chip or two out of it. Now LeBron is obviously on the backside of things. When you look to it, you say to yourself, we would move on from AD, in my opinion, but what are we getting in return? This is L.A. We got to get a superstar young player, right? We can't get just a guy. We need somebody to replace LeBron James if we're moving on from AD, because AD, in many people's eyes, like yours and Jay's, who are NBA experts, say he's just a 2. I'm not an NBA expert, but I certainly know basketball, and he looks like a 2 to me. So what do we do? Like, who are we going to get in exchange for that in Anthony Davis?
And that's why you start looking at teams where guys have gone, a team like Miami, which has players and they have a way of doing things down there. Where if they ever had a guy like Anthony Davis, somehow, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and the rest of that group down there would make it work. Again, I think it's difficult. I wouldn't be so surprised if LeBron is thinking, you know what, I gave them my championship. Maybe I should move on. Maybe I should go back to Cleveland. That's the team that's young and doesn't know how to win yet. Maybe somehow I could make my way back there. I agree with Stephen A. from this standpoint. The future, you look at teams in the Western Conference alone, forget about the East, and you look and you say, who has a brighter future right now? This team or the Lakers? And I understand it's L.A. and players always want to go there, but everything that they've given up the past couple of years, and now they're locked into Russell Westbrook for another season, and the draft picks that they gave away, it doesn't look great. It's not going to be easy for them to rebuild. I could definitely see them moving on for Anthony Davis, but the key is going to be you better get something back in the terms of players and in draft picks, and I don't know where that would be right now. I would think something in the Eastern Conference where you have young players. Jay mentioned Jason Tatum. If I were them, I'd want Tatum. I can't see Boston doing something like that.
Well, I mean, it's probably the question is, does Anthony Davis weigh enough on the trade scale that you can get another guy like a Tatum, even if it's not a direct trade, if it's a 3-team trade? I think probably he does. He has enough weight in a trade that you can get something back good. That is the great Frank Isola. Speaking of something good, thanks, Frank.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.